Governor Adeleke, how market? How is APC treating you in Osun? Davido, how is the campaign going? Let me tell your uncle that only VoteWatch can save him in this Osun election. No amount of sucking up to APC, sucking up to Tinubu, because I say that Action Alliance has gone to go and adopt Tinubu as the presidential candidate. If adopting Tinubu, remember, Davido, you took your uncle, or both of you went together to go and visit Tinubu in Aso Rock Villa. Back when PDP started having issues and you saw, oh, you could not use PDP to contest second term, and you tried to decamp to APC. At that point, the Oyetola and his people rejected you. Davido, remember that you took your uncle and both of you went to go and see Tinubu in the villa. How did that work out? Of course, it didn't work out. And so you now decided that the next best thing is to decamp to Action Party. You don't go the Action Party now. Few days to election, 16 of your aides, including your SSG, arrested by police. They are making the state ungovernable for you. As it is now, it appears as though they are preparing the ground for rigging. And then next thing we hear is that you are adopting Tinubu as the presidential candidate of your Action Party. No problem. But know this. Know it and know peace. Learn it from Fubara. Making peace with Tinubu will not stop his goons like Oyetola at the state level in Osun from doing you what they will do you. So if the plan is to rig you out, don't think that adopting Tinubu as the presidential candidate will save you. Don't. Okay. What will save you is VoteWatch. And the earlier you and everybody in your team realizes this, the better for you. Many persons have advised you. They have said, oh, Governor Oyetola, adopt the Kwankwasia model. I have said this in a couple of meetings before. I will say it now, and I will continue to say it. The Kwankwasia model is outdated. The Kwankwasia model is outdated, not because it is not effective in itself, but because the kind of rigging that they have started rigging now is more advanced than what the Kwankwasia model can handle. So if you're going to apply the Kwankwasia model, you must improve some things there. Got to update some things there. If not, you'll just be wasting your time. And you can only update the Kwankwasia movement method or model using the technology provided by VoteWatch. And it's critical. You need to understand how they are going to rig. The rigging now AI rigging. They're not they do the rigging what they do before again. It is advanced now. It is the ghost mode kind of rigging. Okay, make it vunaya, they go rig. You they wonder where they for rig myself. That's the kind of rigging they are going to rig. We have seen it and we have planned and prepared for it. The solution has been developed. It is there. It's just that many of you take it for granted. In Ekiti, we kept telling Isaac Fayoshi that look, this is your approach. Oh, we have boys. Now, boys were they AI compliant, using technologies like VoteWatch. Now, if we stop rigging for this APC now, where we did for this Nigeria, we told them they didn't take it seriously. How did it pan out in Ekiti? So we will say it again like we have always said it, and let those who have ears listen. the way they are going to rig now, you not feel use graduam. Will it work? They don't advance past that stage. You know why? Because you have to understand how the Electoral Act works for you to be able to come up with a solution that will effectively block or stop rigging. Coming to shout, hey, we will count them, we count them. You know go work. I don't even tell Peter Obi that one. So whether Peter Obi agrees or submits to it or not, we, the people that want him to be, that are desperate for him to be president of Nigeria, we go activate what we need to activate. And then I VoteWatch. Why is Kwankwasia model outdated? Why will it fail if used alone, if it's not updated with VoteWatch? Why? The Kwankwasia model works like this, and you have to understand how the Kwankwasia model works for you to know why it will not be effective anymore to stop rigging in 2027, particularly also in Osun. Kwankwasia model is the people comes out en masse. You have large number of people, yeah. And then you say, oh, you follow the results from the polling unit to the collation center. Here is the problem with the Kwankwasia method. At the polling unit, every Nigerian voter with PVC, they are allowed by law to be present there. As a voter, you can, in fact, you are required, not required, it is your responsibility, it is your duty to not only vote, but after you vote, you are supposed to wait. When vote is concluded and the vote is being sorted and counted, you are supposed to be there to monitor. You are allowed to be at the polling unit together with the polling unit agent of the political party. In fact, after the results are processed, the political party agent for that polling unit will now sign together with other political party agents that are available. If they are not available, no problem. Those that are available will sign. It still is a valid document. So don't say because, oh, I don't agree, I will not sign. Other people there will sign. So the solution is not to protest and say we are boycotting. That is not the solution. In fact, they are counting on you saying you are boycotting, because they will always get other smaller political parties to sign that form. And whoever is available, that form EC8A is valid. Now here is where the problem is. Or let's understand it a little more. After you vote, the results are processed. Everybody is allowed to be there. Every voter is allowed to be there. Monitor the vote. Make sure that the correct figures are written on the form EC8A. Now, after everybody has signed, including police and the INEC officials, then INEC is now required to use their beavers to take a picture of the original form EC8A to upload to the IREV server. Now, the IREV server for INEC is not a collation center, it's a storage. It'd be like one place where we just keep the digital copy, electronic copy of the form EC8A first. That's what the IREV is. At that point, every voter that is at that polling unit, they are allowed by law, in fact, they are encouraged to monitor the process. So you can take out your phone at that time and take a picture of the original form EC8A as a party supporter or a polling unit agent. You can do that. Or even as an ordinary voter, you can do that. But guess what? Even the polling unit agent for a political party at the polling unit cannot enter the collation center starting at the ward level. As the political parties are appointing polling unit agents, they are also appointing collation center agents, starting from ward collation center, local government collation center, state collation center, up to national collation center. So if all of you now pack yourself, and because you want to use the Kwankwasia model, you now pack yourself from where you are to the ward collation center, guess what will happen? If your numbers are too much, the police can use that as an excuse to relocate the collation center. They will use it. So if you apply the Kwankwasia model to say, hey, let everybody follow the ballot from the polling unit to the World Collation Center, number one problem you will have is that you will give the security agencies the excuse to relocate the World Collation Center, because even the polling unit agent for the political party is not allowed at the World Collation Center. Not allowed. So at the World Collation Center, now only the World Collation agent for the political party, that's what will be allowed. So you can only shout. By the time they tear gas you, you go wrong. And you would have created the environment that they need for them to do their rigging. Because the rigging is not going to happen at the collation center. This collation center is just going to provide the avenue to cover up whatever the rigging is. I will tell you where the rigging will happen. Which is why the important thing is for us to battle this battle, finalize it at the polling unit. That is the upgrade that the Kwankwasia model needs using VoteWatch for it to become effective against the new type of rigging that I consider AI rigging. How many of you have noticed that Yaga Africa is raising alarm now? The Nigerian media space, they are picking it now. That, oh, what I called the buffer server, they are now calling it a validation process. So, in the FCT local council election, I observed it. It happened in the Ekiti election. It has happened in the Ondo election. It happened in the Edo election. Once the result is processed from the polling unit and the INEC officials use the beavers to snap it and upload to INEC's IREV, you're supposed to monitor, right? To make sure that the upload successfully goes, or the from EC8A successfully uploads from that polling unit. Now, what I have witnessed personally is that at that polling unit, when the INEC official clicks submit, it will read successful, meaning that, oh, it has been uploaded to the IREV server, right? Wrong. At that point, voters at the polling unit agent will assume that, oh, because it's read successful, it has gone to INEC IREV server. No. What we are being made to believe now is that there is a validation process. So there is a validation server that will validate all the so-called from EC8A that are uploaded from the polling unit. What does that tell you? Nobody knows what happens or where that validation server is. What I noticed is that if the results are uploaded from EC8A from the polling unit by 4 p.m., the earliest time you can see the result on the INEC IREV portal is 4 hours 30 minutes, 8:30 p.m. We have seen this. What does that tell you? It proves the buffer server theory that I established about 6 or 7 months ago. When I said it, many of you called it conspiracy theory. Today, it is clear that it's not conspiracy theory. They are calling it validation process, meaning there is a validation server that nobody knows what goes on in that validation server. Now, here's the problem. People like Rufai Oseni, people like Yaga Africa are now saying that, oh, we must verify that validation server. They should open it so that all Nigerians will know what goes on that validation server. Waste of time. If INEC agrees to even say, okay, fine, civil society organizations or political parties or interested people, yeah, come, let us validate the validation server. Now, one button they go press, waiting, there no one may you see, go invisible mode. You go check everything go dey okay. When you go, they go press the button again, waiting, there no one make you see, go dey active again. So calling on civil society organization to come and validate and check what goes on in that validation process, waste of time. Waste of time. So what can we do? INEC can go on and do whatever they want to do with their validation server, quote and unquote. We will do what we know we can do. We have something better than even IREV, which is VoteWatch, right? VoteWatch, all a citizen needs to do is make sure that the voting at the polling unit is monitored to completion, and once the results are processed and the Form EC8A is filled, use your phone at that point to capture it. If every voter is doing it from every polling unit, we have an independently verifiable, people-powered alternative to INEC's IREV. And guess what? VoteWatch does one thing that IREV does not do. VoteWatch does electronic automated collation. So which means that once the results are entered from the polling units, from all the 179,000 polling units, or 189, whatever the numbers are, the results are automatically available for all Nigerians to see from the polling units. Before they move from there to World Collation Center, where their pragadabra is likely to happen, we already have the results in public. Even the collation center agent can already see the result for his ward collated before the result physically gets to the World Collation Center. This way we don't shine light and darkness cannot stand. This is the only way that we can stop the rigging. Attempting to move everybody to collation center is against the law. And once it's against the law, these people will not hesitate to hide behind the law to tear gas anybody that breaks the law. So that way, we will create chaos that serves them. Because chaos is also one of the things they like. When there is chaos, they will have reason to relocate collation center. By law, they have that power. Once there is chaos, whatever manipulations they do, you don't have anything to counter it. So you see, we can't just use Kwankwasia model. We have to update it using VoteWatch for it to be effective against the kind of rigging that they are doing. Do you know what happens in that validation server? That validation server has automatic, and this is my opinion now, has automatic electronic correlation of results. So at a glance, INEC can see how people voted from the polling unit immediately. But they don't want to make it public. They don't want to. I know they have it. Because if you listen to Mike Igini, as far back as 2019, Mike Igini, as a resident electoral commissioner, had that technology in his office. So why would you tell me that National does not have it? They have it. But they don't want you to know that they have it. Because once they get a picture of how people voted, word by word, local government by local government, state by state, then they can know where to reduce vote, where to add vote. They will do all of those manipulations, and they are calling it validation, for me, in my opinion. So by the time they are satisfied, by 4 hours, 30 minutes later, they will now post it on the IREV that you and I can see publicly. See where the problem is now. You see why the people's alternative, VoteWatch, is the only way. And the technology is available. Adeleke, if you are interested in a second term, really, if you don't want to be outplayed by Oyetola and his people and the APC and Tinubu, don't think that adopting Tinubu will save you. It will not. The only way out for you is to adopt VoteWatch. Adopt VoteWatch. Adopt VoteWatch. And make I put echo. That is the way out. Not just only for Oyetola. And this is a rallying point for all opposition to come together. Because not be gra will stop rigging. That sense. That sense now. VoteWatch. The link is in the description. VoteWatch.pro. Check it out. Sign up as a volunteer. Together, let us stop rigging in 2027. Let us give the power back to the people.